This is Matt all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam show whilst I'm watching the Ipswich Cardinals play the Essex Spartans.
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome to episode 508 of your 12-Man Fan Jam show as we discuss the Seahawk training camp and prepare for the upcoming preseason because, hey, if they're going to keep score, well, you might as well win. Let's make the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang. His lemon trees bring all the boys to the yard. It is Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Fantastic, Matt. How are you, sir?
I'm really well. I am locked and loaded. I am ready for Nuclear Armageddon and a new NFL season. I am totally ready. Whichever one comes first.
Yeah, which will come first? We hope it's the season, but we'll see. Next up, our Newshound. His 12-man editorials are always a good read, found on SeahawksScout.com. It is Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
Okay. I just got wrapped up a business trip to Oakland and suburbs.
Do you want to tell them the picture you sent us all?
Well, it's funny because if you take the BART train out of Oakland's airport, it takes you right by the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum where the Raiders and the Oakland A's play. And I have to say that place is every bit as much of a dump as I thought it would be.
Oh, it looked lovely. I'll have to put that picture up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, the man that has become our movie quote man and our Games of Thrones expert. He knows a little bit about football, too. That's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, that's so funny you should mention that, because I don't know if you heard it when I jumped on or not, but I was waiting for you guys, and I was watching a Game of Thrones spoiler for Saturday, for Sunday.
No!
I guess Matt jumped on, and all of a sudden I hear him go, Are you listening to a Game of Thrones spoiler video? You could hear it.
Man's addicted. Do you know what he says, though? He says, yeah, I am watching a spoiler video, but I already know what's going to happen. So why are you watching a spoiler video?
Just to confirm it.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen this particular spoiler video yet, so I had to watch that one too.
Well, it could have been worse. He could have been rewatching that Melisandre scene from the first episode of season 6.
Oh, goodness, yeah, that was bad.
And if you follow Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Melisandre minus the necklace.
I don't.
I don't.
Trust
But
me,
I'm sure
it's better
it's
this
great.
way. It's better this way.
Yeah, well, no, we'll get that picture and throw it up too, guys.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll throw that up too. We'll just throw all kinds of stuff up. We'll throw everything up. Well, it has been a while since we have had a show. And a quick programming note, this is our last show before the season opener, which is going to be recorded and released around Saturday, September 9th. So adjust your internet accordingly for that. But before that, hey, it's time to tell you what's in store for this episode. Michael Bolton!
Boys, let's get to it.
Yes, let's get to it. The show is broken into 4 quarters and halftime like a real NFL game. Quarter 1 will catch us up on all the NFL news. Quarter 2, we're going to talk about the Seahawk training camp, things that have happened, little bumps, little bruises, and other things. Halftime is the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
I believe, who was our winner last episode? I believe it was Will?
That would be me.
Yes, it was Will. I believe it was Will. So everyone has won in the off-season, even though Matt said it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. It's preseason.
No.
Unless I win.
Quarter 3, we are going to talk about the latest Seahawk to get in the Hall of Fame. That is Kenny Easley. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Kam Chancellor and his 3-year contract extension. And the fourth quarter, it's time for a secret mystery game for the posse that you definitely will not want to miss. So, before we start, please like, share, subscribe, Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on the Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A lot of little extras there, a pregame video we do before every show that we record. We're on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. Email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. But before the news, I do have a quick shout out.
Hey, can I do a shout out? Shout out.
A quick shout out to longtime friend and former guest of this very show way back in 2014, the 12-Man Fan Jam April Showers show, to be exact, Norb Cowley. He was inducted in the PFUFA Fans Hall of Fame for all of his dedication and work as a Seahawk fan. Congrats, Norb. It is extremely well deserved. The kids dig it. Kids, they love it. And we love it. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Congrats, Norb, for that. All right. Now let's get to the first quarter, and Shadowhawk will with the news. Yes, it's the 12-Man Fan Jam News Report. News of the NFL while you are out getting that outrageous tan. Brought to you by the Ezekiel Elliott punching bag. Will! What do you got for us?
Well, Moses, most of us know all about Michael Bennett's rather distinctive sack dance. Which,
I'm glad you put dance at the end of that, but go ahead.
Well, yes. Which, may be illegal now under the new celebration rules. I don't know, and I don't think anybody else does either. However, it's been inspired, of course, by the famous sketch by Key and Peele, the Hingle McCringleberry sketch. Two pumps is fine, 3 pumps gets you a penalty, all that. Well, these two comedians took their appreciation for athletes mimicking their sketch a step further than expected. Because Michael Bennett is not the only one who's done this. Von Miller of the Broncos has actually gotten a penalty and a fine for celebration in the past, in 2015. And
hey, stop driving a truck while you're doing this. I don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. But anyway, he was fined $11,567, and Key and Peele actually made an equivalent donation to Von Miller's charitable foundation.
Wow.
That's
very
cool.
Cool. That is very cool.
So Miller may have had to pay the NFL a fine, but he also did some good, thanks to Key and Peele.
Very nice. Very nice. Those guys are hysterical, and they don't. I saw one of them on a comedy show, and they said people don't even know we have a show. They just know us from like skits on the internet.
Nice.
And she said this one time, this one lady came up to him, and she goes, "I've been with you guys since you started on the internet." He's like, "We have a show. It comes off a show." In fact, now they said at the end of your videos on the internet, they have those guys at the end, and they say, "By the way, we have a bunch of these on a show on Comedy Central if you ever want to watch us."
Nice. My favorite one of theirs is they have the soccer one where the dude dies on the field after he barely gets touched. Yeah. And then they're like carting him off the field, and He jumps up and goes and scores the game-winning goal.
I like the substitute.
Pretty accurate, actually.
Substitute teacher one is probably the most famous one, and that is the one I always think of.
Yeah,
of course, being an educator. Too. That's funny stuff. That's really nice. The nice donation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good guys. Do you know who they are, Matt?
Sorry?
Do you know who they are?
No.
I didn't think you did.
I don't care.
They're pretty good. They do one of those epic rap battles of history, too, where it's Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali. It's pretty darn funny. And they have Martin Luther King versus Gandhi, too, which is pretty funty.
I've seen one of those. I think it was the bloke from Game of Thrones and J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, that was
funny.
Yeah.
Those guys were the two main guys of epic rap battles.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Will, what else you got for us?
Well, this one references an old favorite of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show News Hour, namely Johnny Manziel.
Yeah!
All right.
Yeah!
Of course, Johnny Manziel is still out of football and will very likely remain so. But he's starting to make plans just in case he will never get back to playing football professionally again. Sounds like he wants to get into coaching. Quote, "I do something involved with sports. I can't get away from it. I've had to ask myself that a little bit as of late over the past year, but at the same time, I'd want to be involved in sports in some way, whether it's coaching, whether it's doing something like that. So I think that'd be my route." He said they would probably want to coach at the collegiate level, which is fair enough since that's where he actually had some measure of success. However, I don't think he should get his resume ready just yet because he made these comments at the International Football Betting Conference in Costa Rica.
Nice.
So you
Of
have
course
to
he
wonder.
did.
It's odd though, is it? Because really, if you think about it, he's still a much more likely quarterback prospect than Colin Kaepernick, which is, just crazy.
That's true. That's very true.
Actually, those two should probably just get a reality show together or something at this point.
Yeah, well.
They could.
So you said it was Johnny Manziel we just did a story about, right? I mean,
That's correct.
yeah, so we didn't play his theme song. It's once again time for Johnny Manziel stories on 12-Man Fan Jam Show. That's about all he's good for right there.
This is true. Well,
Yeah.
you never know. Those who
Doing his
can't
best.
do, teach.
Then, well, he'd be a heck of a bartender, let me tell you.
Or
He'd
a
drink all
plumber.
the profits. It'd be rubbish.
One for the customer, one for me,
Oh my
one for the
God.
customer, one for me.
Go back to him. The story about him wanting to coach. It reminds me of the Bad News Bears. You remember there was always the drunk that taught the little kids to play little league baseball. Can't you see him out there with the beer sitting on the bench? Throw the ball.
Yeah. I was thinking he might want to sober up and maybe try being a sponsor first, see if he can handle one person, and then move on from there.
Ouch. That one. Ooh. Dustin's feeling randy tonight.
Boy,
It's
say.
Randy.
And is he aware of this?
Yeah. Right. Oh, great stories. Thanks, Will.
Anytime, Moses.
All right, let's end that first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this episode, 12-Man Fan Jam Show, lots of show left. We play a new secret game in the fourth quarter you're not going to want to miss. Kam and Kenny get recognized. But coming up next is the Seahawk training camp news. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Straight up now, shoot me.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Yes, welcome back to the second quarter of your episode 508 of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We're going to talk this quarter about training camp for the Seahawks. They went to training camp for a couple weeks. They're about to break and go into the preseason mode. But before they do, we had some highlights and I guess you could say some lowlights of things that happened during training camp. One I think we have to bring out right away was the situation with McDowell, the new defensive end, second round pick, or defensive lineman, I guess, because he could line up anywhere. McDowell from Michigan State had an ATV accident, apparently. It was very shady on whether he was even going to come to camp. And then he wrote, "No, I'm coming to camp." And then he showed up for a couple of days, and the doctors checked him out, and he went back home. Currently on the NFI list, which is non-football injury list. An ATV accident. We have a lot of defensive linemen, but gosh, Dustin, this is not really great news, is it?
No, not at all, because it sounded like they're expecting a lot from the guy, and I guess he's really talented. I'm really curious about the injury. I know they can't discuss it or talk about it because this isn't your normal football injury. It didn't happen on the field. They're not required to update the league and everything with, this guy's going to be out for this amount of time. He missed practice because this and that. This is outside of football injury, which means it's more of a national standards type rules that you have to deal with HIPAA violations and things like that, patient privacy. And so they're not allowed to discuss it unless they have his permission, which they do not, apparently. So the fact that he couldn't travel right away, because it happened a few weeks ago, and the fact that he couldn't travel to be there with the team on time and consent, and at least show up, and it was advisable for him to stay back home where the doctors that were currently treating him were, to me that says that's pretty bad. That he can't even travel.
Right.
So I don't know what it was or what happened. From what I understand, some kind of facial thing. But and you hear people like Michael Bennett saying how it's his quality of life hopefully isn't affected. When you hear people say stuff like that, really makes you wonder what happened. So I'm hoping if it's a concussion, it's not that bad. If it's some kind of facial injury, hopefully it's something he can recover from. I mean, it's beyond football at this point. It sucks he's not on the field, and it sucks he can't be there because of the talent he is. But at the same time, hopefully he's healthy enough to come back and do his thing later on. Just get better and
Yeah. Matt, there's been some backlash about this because they're saying, hey, look, this kid knew what he was getting into. He signed a multi-million-dollar to play football. He should be taking care of himself. We don't know a lot of the details about the accident, but what are your thoughts about the backlash?
Well, look, there's no point having backlash. The incident has happened, it's occurred, and you have to deal with that. I think the thing that I would stress is that had he been involved in a normal road collision, just got in his car and got broadsided by a third party and was injured, there wouldn't be a backlash. The idea is that he was doing something unsafe or something unwise, considering the bloke has just signed a 4-year contract for what, 7 million, 7.5 million, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You'd think that maybe these guys would try and take a bit more care of themselves or do less. If I'd just signed 6 million knowing that I had to turn up, I probably wouldn't jump out of a plane and parachute or go bungee jumping or do something which would damage it. But really, these kids are enjoying their lives. They're young lads. They're going to do these sorts of things. But they do. I think there's no point having a backlash from fans about it at all. What I would say though is that if it's facial in that sense, I don't need pretty defensive ends. Do you know what I mean? I don't need him to look pretty. If he has to wear a Phantom of the Opera mask, I don't care. If he can turn up and do his job, get him out there and do it. Maybe he won't have a modelling contract. I don't know. Perhaps he'll never get to be the face of Estee Lauder or whatever. But whatever it is, I hope that he recovers in full. I hope that it's not long lasting, and I hope that he can get his ass on the field as soon as possible. What I will say is that if he can't, then I'm afraid that I think it's 6.9 million. I think is where I've read somewhere. Then that 6.9 million is in jeopardy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of the backlash stems from the fact that it's known that a lot of NFL contracts have clauses in them to where you're not allowed to do certain dangerous things. Like Ben Roethlisberger could have gotten in trouble a long time ago when he got in that motorcycle accident when he wasn't wearing a helmet. The dude wasn't supposed to be on a motorcycle in the first place. That was part of his contract. So I know there's provisions in NFL contracts that prevent players from, or they're supposed to prevent players from doing things like that, or they hold them more accountable for those types of actions. So, but at the same time, it's kind of weird because you got Jimmy Graham flying a plane around all over the place.
Truth.
You got, it's kind of, it's weird what's considered a safe act and what's not.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that Jimmy Graham flying a plane, again, really, to me, is no different than somebody getting on a train or flying a domestic flight from one side of the USA to the other. At what point, just because he's controlling the plane, does that make it less safe? I don't know. He's a pilot of some experience. So
licensed. Yeah.
Well, and licensed and all the rest of the stuff. The idea is, though, is that what I would say is that if McDowell was on an ATV without wearing a helmet and then has caused himself some damage as a result of that, well, then I think there's some backlash is owed because safety equipment should be worn when you're doing those things anyway. But who knows? We don't have enough detail of the incident to know what's occurred.
And I don't think we ever will.
And that's why I don't think the backlash can be at all, reasonable in some respects, because only McDowell and whoever else was there knows really what happened.
Well, I said other than him maybe not supposed to be on ATV in the first place, contract-wise, like a lot of them aren't supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Should we have that information? I'm not saying force him. Should he come out publicly and because?
No, not at all.
No.
It's nobody's business but his own. It didn't happen on the field. There weren't millions of people witnessing it.
And the front office can take any action they deem fit, so they'll know the truth because he'll have told them. Yeah. They'll have said, in your contract it says you shouldn't be on an ATV at all. Therefore, we're going to dock you 1.8 million or whatever. Boom. Have a great day. Because that's what your contract says,
And not only that, I assume that all those medical records and everything that he has with those doctors back home are probably going to be forwarded to the Seahawks doctors so they can go over it and see what happened, get an idea of the injuries, and so.
Right.
Especially if there's any chance of lasting damage going on. So if he does come back and play, but he has some sort of head concussion as a result of this accident, then them doctors are going to need to know that so that if he has an incident during the game, they can take that into account when responding.
Or if it's bad enough to where he has like post-concussion syndrome, where he's dealing with symptoms of a concussion long after he does no longer have a concussion. So,
but he was able to make a very quick statement to say that as far as he was concerned, it wasn't life-threatening or anything like that. And it may be that they're treating him very, very, carefully by saying, we're going to send you home for a period. Go home, rest up. We don't need you at camp. We'll see you at week 4, whatever. Get yourself better, get yourself well. He was compass mentis enough to be able to issue that statement pretty quickly. He was able to turn up to camp. So part of me thinks that this is more of a precautionary thing, but you don't know. Who knows?
You don't know.
And part of that's kind of true because it's kind of tricky though with that timeline, because when all the reports came out about him not reporting and that happened, he jumped on there quick to kind of correct it. But then he had that tweet around the time it happened and said, "Thank God I'm alive."
Right.
So Yeah, so it's kind of hard telling how it went down and what went down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a scary situation. Of course, we definitely wish him the absolute best.
Yeah.
Regardless of football, you don't want to see anybody. I mean, even if it was a 49er or a Ram or whoever, I'd be like, you know what? Best wishes. I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened in camp this year, we did have only one major fight, I guess. and apparently a TKO. Frank Clark and Ifedi got into it, and Dustin, that sounded kind of nasty.
Yeah, the funny thing was, I think it was Curtis Crabtree on Twitter had said that before that part of it happened, another player had got kind of hip thrown through a table or a water dispenser or something on the field, and then that's kind of what jump started it. And I was like, man, that's like some WWE Dudley Boys stuff. They always have this table they bring out and slam people through the table. So then all that happened, and I heard Conor McGregor heard about it. What was that?
I said Renton, Washington, a.k.a. North Dallas 40.
Yeah. And then I'm sure once word that this about this fight gets out and Frank Clark and all that, I'm sure Conor McGregor is going to call him out next, so that'll be a fun fight too. Wouldn't surprise me.
Will boys just be boys, or should we be concerned about this?
Well, it's something that you can't let slide, and I don't think the team did. I mean,
no, they didn't.
They said today that Clark apologized in front of the entire team, which I thought was good. And,
yeah.
And I don't think this is anything that's going to carry over into the regular season. But the funny thing was Pete Carroll said on 710 today that since Jermaine Ifedi's come back from getting punched in the face, he's had his best 2 days of practice all camp. So I'm starting to wish somebody had popped him back in November.
Well, y'all remember Tom Cable was known for doing that anyway, so maybe he'll just add that on.
He was.
Hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah, right. If it works, I don't know. Matt, who do you think would it have knocked down, drag out between Clark and Ifedi if there were no?
Well, I think what's happened is that Ifedi's put on a little bit of weight and his pecs have turned into breasts. So, Frank Clark just got mistaken.
Oh, no.
Had a bit of a moment.
Terrible. That's what Ifedi said.
That's what
Ifedi
said.
God.
Look, for me, I have to say, I almost expect. I don't follow training camp very closely because at the end of the day, it should really just be a regelling of the team, bringing things back together and getting stuff started ready for the season. But it always seems to turn into some sort of, wrestling mania type of let's get ready to fumble. Yeah. It's just unacceptable to a degree.
That's Brown's camp.
Yeah. But part of me thinks, well, at least they're getting hyped up, because that sort of adrenaline at a practice is good. As long as it's not Tharald Simon on the first preseason game getting sent off, I'm quite happy.
Dennis asked Will if it was concerning that happened, and I want to say the fight in itself isn't necessarily concerning because fights happen in training camp. Yeah. I think the way it happened is concerning because Frank Clark couldn't control his emotions and he went up and sucker punched the guy when he wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Now, if he has an issue controlling his emotions and doing that in an actual game, that's going to cost the team a lot. So I hope it doesn't. I hope he gets it together and is able to recognize that line and not step over it.
Well, if he learned his lesson last week as opposed to having to learn it in the regular season when he gets fined and probably suspended and all sorts of nasty stuff, then this was worth it in the long run. So let's hope it sunk in.
And it seemed to me that on his Twitter, Frank was pretty responsible about it. He said the right things, made a mistake, that kind of attitude he had, that he realizes, I think, that he kind of overstepped, I hope.
No, it sounded like his footwork was perfect. He knocked the dude out. So.
Yeah. And finally,
Superman punch.
Just a little couple minor things. Baldwin came out of practice the other day with an ankle or foot issue. Luke Wilson was limping, but I don't think either one of these are major, are they?
No, I don't think we'll see either of them play on Sunday, but then we don't really need to. Carroll came out and said flat out that if this was a real game, Baldwin would be able to play.
Good.
That it's not terribly serious. And as for Luke Wilson, I don't think it's that big of a deal either, except that, you're missing practice reps, and Tyrone Swoops is actually looking pretty good. So.
Yeah. Dustin, what are some positives Name me something positive that's come out of training camp that you've heard from people that have gone or on Twitter or whatever, what the buzz is.
Well, I have a buddy who is he owns the Bear Harbor or Grace Harbor Bearcats, I think is what it's called, Grace Harbor Bearcats, minor league team here, whatever, amateur team, and he plays center for him. He's an offensive lineman. He actually coaches offensive line for my kids' team and stuff. He's a big lineman guy. And he went to training camp the other day, and he said Posick looks like a real deal type lineman. He said that guy looks really, really good out there, technique wise, and with everything he's doing. So, and he would recognize that. That's a position he knows. So
nice, very nice. Well, what kind of positives have you heard?
Well, sticking with the offensive line a bit. I mean, they're still rotating in Ibushi and Glowinski, so there's some competition at right guard. And, Posick is pushing Ifedi, and it sounds like he's making Ifedi look better as well. But other than right guard, and possibly right tackle, it seems like they're settling in on a starting 5 offensive line pretty quickly.
Good.
With Fant at left tackle, Jokol at left guard, and Britt at center, and then maybe Ibushi or Glowinski at right guard, and probably Ifedi at right tackle, but who knows. But anyway, the sooner they can get those 5 guys locked in and working together day in and day out, the better.
I agree. Matthew, anything you've heard?
Just that apparently Thomas Rawls was rumbling well, which again after that injuries and stuff, is that if he's back up to his fine form as he was when they originally saw him, then that can only be good news. Fat Man Lacey's now Thin Man Tracy, so he's doing well.
Yes.
So he's good to go. So I think the running game that's going to be an interesting one, and also that Luke Wilson as well. Pete Carroll was gushing about Luke Wilson too, although obviously he's got that limp thing going on. That he's looking pretty good too. So actually, all the weapons, seems to be firing all cylinders at the moment.
Yeah,
and Jimmy Graham looks unstoppable.
Yes, I've heard that. I hope that our offensive coordinator is noticing.
I think maybe the best
Wilson's
news is...
dropping, and Russell is dropping dimes, I'm hearing, just like unbelievably on the mark passes, and is looking sharper than ever, which, every time we think he's as high as he's going to possibly get, he gets better. So that's just amazing.
Our offensive coordinator's just said, Jimmy Graham's on our team?
Yeah.
Who's that 88 guy?
Who's that
He's
bloke?
the block more.
Are we allowed to throw to him?
Yeah.
I think maybe the best news is the non-news that we've heard about Earl Thomas or Tyler Lockett since they've been out there. They're obviously full go, having no problem. So that's a beautiful thing.
That's a great thing. A lot of positives. So we're about to hit the preseason, and we are about to hit halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
All right, so much more show ahead. Is Kam worth the money? Is Kenny Easley overdue as a Hall of Famer? Can someone pass the sunscreen? All these answers and so much more just around the corner. But first, it's another wonderful edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next!
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
Trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Will, Matt, and Dustin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-Man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. if the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that, but once and only once during the entire game show, and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. You can ask the kids once during the first 2 rounds. The topic tonight is preseason football, and then the wild card question each round is about Kenny Easley. So, Kenny Easley and preseason football. Will, you are our defending champion. 1, 2, or 3, please.
I'll go with 2.
Will goes with 2. Dustin, 1 or 3?
3.
3. And that means that Matt will be leading us off.
Okay.
Are you ready, Matt?
I am.
Matt, your question is about Kenny Easley.
Okay.
What college? No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Did his daughter attend?
It was UCLA, but it's okay.
Yeah, it was. I'm going a little farther back. In high school.
Nice job.
Yeah. In high school, Kenny Easley received All-American honors at what position?
Did he?
Quarterback, linebacker, or running back? Kenny Easley. Dance!
Probably quarterback.
Probably quarterback?
Yeah.
Probably quarterback?
Am I asking you? I'm telling you, quarterback.
There you go. Have some confidence, man.
Probably wrong.
Yeah, it's quarterback. Let's see.
Oh, was it?
Well, Mosette said quarterback, and Little Mo said linebacker. Yeah, it's quarterback.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Now, Matt, what grade school did Kenny Easley attend?
Yeah, I know.
For the record, he ran for 1,000 yards and passed for 1,000 yards, which in 10 games is pretty amazing.
Back
So,
in
you know what?
second grade,
Still-
when Kenny Easley got Student of the Month.
And today, let me just tell you, today he's still a better quarterback prospect than Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, gosh.
Uh-oh. That was Matt, care of 12-Man Fan Jam Show at gmail.com.
Merry Old England. Just
All
send it. Merry Old England. It will come to me.
Yes,
I promise.
yes. All right, Will, you ready?
Yes, sir.
It's about the Chargers. Team we're playing preseason. Last time the Seahawks.
Los Angeles Superchargers.
Last time the Seahawks played the Chargers in the regular season, how many touchdown catches did Antonio Gates have? 1, 2, or 3? How many touchdown catches did Antonio Gates have against the Seahawks the last time they played? 1, 2, or 3?
Pretty sure I know this one.
Oh, that game was miserable.
In all aspects.
I'm gonna go with 2.
He's going with 2. Little Mo went with 3. Mosette went with 1. You are going with 2. Nah, it was 3.
Yeah.
It was 3. Yeah, he had 3 touchdown catches. That's just ridiculous.
Like I said, I blocked most of that game out of my memory.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, we play like complete shit, and then people were getting pulled out and getting IVs and stuff because they were cramping up, and
it was
bad.
And that was
Everything
just the
about
fans.
it was bad. Yeah.
That was the
I
first
know.
time the team lost by more than 7 points in, I think, 3 years or something, too. Because they lost by, like, 9.
Yep.
Okay, Dustin, here you go.
All right.
Dustin, yours is about the Vikings.
Great.
The
All I studied was Chargers trivia this week, so awesome. I figured we're playing Chargers, I'll study Chargers.
All right.
All right.
Last time the Seahawks played the Vikings in Seattle in the regular season, who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks? Was it Doug Baldwin, Zach Miller, or Golden Tate? Dance! Most receiving yards for the Seahawks. Baldwin, Miller, or Tate?
I'm going to go with the dark horse one on this, the underdog, and I'll say Zach Miller.
Zach Miller.
Because I like that guy. Haven't heard of him for a while.
I do too. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
You said Zach Miller. Mosette said Zach Miller. Little Mo said Golden Tate. Yeah,
Oh,
Zach
sweet.
Miller.
Nice.
Zach Miller 69, Doug Baldwin 63, Golden Tate 26. Wow.
Awesome.
Dustin and Matt on the board, and the champ is down 1-0. All right. So that means we will go with Matt, 4, 5, or 6.
4, please.
Matt will take question 4. And Dustin, 5 or 6?
I'll mix it up and go with 5 this time.
All right. And that means we'll take the last question. Okay, here we go. Same thing. Preseason opponents are Kenny Easley. And Matt, once again, you got Kenny Easley. Congratulations.
Great, thanks. Please let it be his college.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with basketball, the sport basketball? Well,
They got the
apparently
court and
Too
the
bad.
an NBA team actually drafted Kenny Easley to play basketball. What NBA team actually drafted Kenny Easley to play basketball? Was it Chicago Bulls, Detroit Pistons, or Los Angeles Lakers? Somebody actually reported they drafted Kenny Easley to play basketball. Chicago Bulls, Detroit Pistons, or Los Angeles Lakers?
The Detroit what? Pistons?
What year?
You know, they have a theme song. I have piston shorts. I have piston pants. I have piston beer mugs. People don't even notice.
You Americans are funny. I'll ask the kids because I haven't got a clue.
Okay. Guess what both kids said?
Pistons.
Pistons.
Well, they're probably wrong. So I'll go with Bulls.
I have piston
I love
basketballs. When I dribble, they do too.
Oh my god.
Oh, dear.
All right.
Oh, no.
Are you going with the Pistons?
Bulls?
No, he said Bulls.
He said
He had
balls.
a reason. He had a reason.
I hope he said bulls and not balls, but yeah.
My accent just pronounced it Bulls. I'm going to go with Bulls.
Go with
I
it.
was right.
Chicago Bulls. Or the Balls.
Oh, I love my life.
Oh, God.
You've got balls. I
Got the balls.
I've got the biggest of
Dodie.
them all. Hey, Dustin.
Yeah,
Last time the Seahawks played the Chiefs in the regular season in Seattle.
Chicago Bulls.
It's the Pistons.
How many NFL players? No. Okay, last time the Seahawks played the Chiefs the regular season in Seattle, how many touchdown passes did Matt Castle throw?
Ooh.
Matt Castle. 3, 4, or 5. Matt Castle against the Seahawks.
What year was this?
2010. Matt Castle. 3,
In the
4, or
preseason,
5.
he said.
The fact
in
that
the-
he threw 3, 4, or 5 just makes
Regular
the hair
season.
in the back of my neck stand up.
Oh, he said it was regular season?
Yeah,
Okay. I'll say 3.
I'll say 3.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer.
Mosette said 3. Luna Mo said 5.
I hope it's not 5.
You said you said 3.
Well,
Well, it's 4, which
Uh,
is still as bad, but
yeah, they
Ugh.
thumped us. I remember that game.
Oh,
They
oh my
just
God.
thumped us.
yeah, that was painful to look up. And finally, Will,
Yes, sir.
it's 0-1-2 right now, so you can maybe get back in this really quick. The last time the Seahawks played the Raiders in Oakland during the regular season was also 2010. That memorable season of Mora. I think it was.
No, that was
yeah.
Carroll.
No,
that was
Pete Carroll.
Pete's first year.
Pete Carroll.
Pete's first year. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The last time the Seahawks played the Raiders in Oakland during the regular season, how many times was Matt Hasselbeck sacked? 4, 6, or 8? That's right. I said 4, 6, or 8. How many times was Matt Hasselbeck sacked against the Raiders in 2010?
Well, considering how badly we got our ass kicked that day,
And it was bad.
hell with it. I'm just going to say 8.
You're going to max out?
He was sitting down the whole game.
He's going to max out and say 8. Malomo said 6. Mosette said 4. You said 8. Yeah, sad but true.
Golly, at that
Oh,
point, you might as well
dear
just
me.
sit down on the field and
That's it.
call it from shotgun.
Let me
Oh,
put.
my God. 8 sacks.
Funny thing about that game, that Sunday I was actually helping a friend's parents move, and I set up my phone to give me a notification anytime there was a score.
Oh, no.
I turned that off by half.
Hey, let me
I
ask you
prefer
something
back
real
pain
quick.
to all this.
That game,
Yeah.
was that the game where Isaiah Kazaminski started at middle linebacker?
I don't remember.
I think it was. Because I just remember them running right up the middle like every play. And I love Kaz. Don't get me wrong. Love Kazaminski. I used to show his story all the time to inspire my kids I work with. And I love the guy to death. But
Yeah.
I just remember them running right up the middle and seeing 58 fall behind them every time. I'm thinking, oh, boy.
It's like
I'm-
Bo Jackson technical bowl stuff.
It was
Oh
unbelievable.
gosh.
Oh, all right.
Pretty much, Dustin.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Now you know it's time for the final question.
Okay.
Okay, the final question will be, of course, a number, high, low. The closest to getting the number without going over wins tonight's halftime trivia. The order will be Dustin, Will, and Matt. And here is your question, gentlemen. It has to do with last year's preseason. Dustin,
Yeah.
how many total points did the Seahawks score in the preseason last year?
I don't know. I had Satan setting the bar for these. That's why I was trying to go last.
I don't care.
Who does, really?
Really?
Dance!
52.
52. Will.
Ooh, that seems hard.
Say 53. Say 53. I'm kidding. No. Will.
I'm going to go with 86.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Matt.
Golly.
52 and 86.
50. What was the score?
52, 86.
I'll go 53.
Nice.
Stealing a playbook right out of...
Stealing a
That's why I
playbook
like
right
to
out
go
Dustin's
last.
page.
Yeah, I like to go last.
I'm stealing a playbook
Well, we
out
have a
Dustin's
winner.
page.
We have a winner. The total points the Seahawks scored in the 2016 preseason was 78.
No.
Oh, it's me then.
Back to England. It's Matt.
Difficult to
It's
do
our
math at
champion.
3:30 in the morning.
All right, so this one counts, guys. This one counts.
It's legit, people. It's legit now because the preseason just started, so it's legit now.
You all know
Let me
this
get my
one counts
trophy
now.
ordered. Hold on, let me order a trophy from Amazon.
Oh, God. Get the trophy polish.
I forgot about the trophies.
Oh,
Well,
dear
at
Lord.
least I wasn't over by just 1 point this time.
Yeah, that's true. That was a big miss there. Well, it was only 8 points. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
No.
I like the fact
well.
that Dustin and I obviously were quite pessimistic about our chances during this season.
Well, I know we scored a bunch of points in that Raider game because that went on forever.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
2 days that went on for.
just FYI, 78 points we scored. We gave up 72. So, in the preseason, not that it means anything because it doesn't. And neither does this. Another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
We'll be back
Yeah.
with the second half of the show right after this quick station identification. Sex Pistols, take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you dipping your head in ice-cold water to stay cool. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Do it now! Before the Wi-Fi melts. All right, it's time for us to get defensive this quarter and talk about a couple of legendary Seahawks.
That explains a lot of problems, Dennis. When you have computer problems, Wi-Fi doesn't melt. I don't know if you knew that.
That's what you think, Dustin.
Oh, yeah?
That just says
You
it
think it's
explains
hot
so
now?
much.
Dennis can do it. All right.
All right.
We get a couple of nuclear missiles, we'll see what melts, all right? That's all I'm
All
saying.
right. All right.
Somebody that never melted but was red hot on the field, and that was Kenny Easley. Finally, we get defensive, and long time coming. Congratulations to Kenny Easley, our newest Seahawk Hall of Famer. We say that because I think it's kind of a pride thing where the 4 guys that are from the Seahawks that have gotten in the Hall of Fame are pretty much career guys, which is great. 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year 1984, All 80s, All Decade Team, Ring of Honor. Probably next is going to be his number 45, retired, I would imagine. Will, your thoughts on Kenny Easley?
Well, long overdue, and it's kind of a shame that it took the seniors committee to make it happen, but I'm just glad it happened. And I think I liked his comment saying that this was the right time for it for him. And he's been through a lot, obviously, but since having to retire, not having anything to do with the team until 2002, because of the way he was treated, it's just it's nice to see that whole saga have a happy ending. He's in the Hall of Fame where he belongs.
Yes.
And I disagree with Kenny Easley on one point. I think he was a better safety than Ronnie Lott, although they're both pretty darn good. But yeah, it was great to see him finally in there, and he's saying he's at the Hawks Colts Sunday night game on October 1st. I am so looking forward to that game.
Fantastic.
I assume that's when they're going to retire his number.
That
would be great.
It
would be great. Yeah. Dustin, your thoughts about Kenny Easley?
I'm right there with Will with the whole thing. I mean, it was long overdue. He's the guy that had a huge impact on the game, even though he didn't play as long as he would have liked, or a lot of people would have liked. And he just the original enforcer. That dude is he was impressive on the field. He was incredible to watch, and and he seems like a really good person too. Never met him or anything, but he seems like a genuine dude. So
he does seem that way.
Got none but love for him, and I'm happy he made it.
Yeah, me too. 32 INTs, by the way. I didn't say that, but that's a remarkable amount of interceptions, and
including 10 in one season.
Yeah, and as big as he was, you always think about his size and him overpowering people with tackles and sacks and what have you. But really, the INTs, just an incredible ball hawking safety. Matt, have you seen highlights of Kenny Easley or anything? And
no, not really. No, he's certainly before my time when I restarted watching football. So it's not a name that was immediately, I did know about him because he was in the Ring of Honor. But yeah, I recognized it, but I don't really know much of the history about it. But I mean, as Will said, I think it's always nice to have, to see Seahawk players get recognized, especially as Will says, ones that have been through the mill a little bit. I did know about him having the issues with the team, and I did know that he'd cut off all access. But I'm sort of pleased that also was resolved, way back then, and that we're sort of, he's sort of where he deserves to be, clearly. So yeah, good news.
He was going to be traded for Kelly Stauffer, by the way, when that all happened to the Cardinals. We want to get in Kelly Stauffer anyway, but that's what we were going to get for
such a
Kenny
deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Kenny Stauffer era of Seahawk football. Look that one up, kids.
We just had bad ownership at the time.
Yeah, true.
And I'm glad Paul Allen has that team now and I know Easley said that as well, because bringing him back, and the fans never left Kenny Easley. They always loved the dude.
Yes.
But it's just the organization was what made it crap for him, which is unfortunate that he had to go through that. But yeah.
Well, congrats to 45. It was long overdue, and I hear great things about him. Like you said, he seems like a pretty nice guy. I would like to think that as well. I just couldn't say enough nice things about him. Really excited about him getting in the Hall of Fame. Someone who may someday, I don't know, maybe join him, maybe won't. One big news that came out since the last show we had during training camp, Kam Chancellor signing a 3-year, $36 million extension. That's a lot of money for a guy that's very physical, Will. What are your thoughts on the Kam Chancellor extension?
Well, as with all contracts, the devil's in the details. I mean, the average per year is what gets all the headlines, which it did in this case. But two really nice things about this contract, which really was the going rate. I mean, after that safety in Miami signed for $12 million a year, there's no way we're getting Kam for less. But the contract is pretty heavily backloaded, which means after a couple years, if he is starting to get banged up, if he is starting to miss a step, we can move on and not be stuck with a lot of dead cap space. So that's good. And actually, it lowers his cap hit for 2017 by, I think it was about $1.5 million.
Yeah, something like that.
So good. We have more cap room to use this year if we want to, or if we need to bring in somebody else. So it gives us flexibility in the short term. We have flexibility with the contract in the long term. And, the guy's given a lot to the team. His holdout 2 years ago was dumb, but I think he's moved past it. The team's moved past it. I was glad to see him get what he's due.
Yeah, I was glad to see it. Matt, your thoughts on that extension?
Yeah, I was pleased. I sort of guessed. I haven't read the detail as in the same way that Will had, but I had guessed that there probably would be some clauses which would allow for wear and tear, which is essentially what we're talking about. As a physical player, that's going to happen, and I think obviously the front office have been very clever. I'm pleased that he's got a renewal because I think he deserves it. I think he is an important leader on the team. I think that's sometimes underestimated. The skill of a player on the field, and his ability on the field is unquestioned, but it's also his skill and ability off the field, which is some of those intangibles which really do add up to the value. So yeah, for me, it's a good deal, positive deal, and I look forward to seeing more of him on the field.
Yep, and Dustin, I think I saw this in the games that Chancellor and Thomas were both on the field together last year, 7-1. Which is pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me one bit.
No,
those two guys out there, they played together for so long, and they're both so good, so dynamic. that, it's hard to do much on them. So it's fun to see. We have to enjoy this. I've said it before.
Yes.
This is kind of the golden age of Seahawks football is right now.
Absolutely.
You have to watch and enjoy this stuff because these things don't happen. Free agents leave for more money. Cam's probably going to be a Seahawk for life now.
Yeah.
There's just a lot to like about it, and he's another guy who's a good dude, and I think he deserves the money, not just for what he's done, but for what he can still do. He's not out of his prime.
No.
He's in the tail end of it, sure, but he's not out of it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the more years we can get with him and Earl and Sherman together, the better off the team's going to be. So
yeah, I'm glad you said that because you know what? Hats off to Schneider and Carroll. When we won the Super Bowl, everyone said, oh, you'll never keep this team together, and they've had some people leave, and they will. You will. But man, they have put together the core of this team and been able to keep people. I thought for sure there's no way we'd go through this offseason and keep 2 of these 3 guys, and we keep all 3 of them, And it's just hats off to them for just working so hard. And what I heard the other day was that the most pleasing thing to Schneider was that they had been working at this for like 2 or 3 months, and nobody even knew about it. Like, it wasn't even an issue. And he was just beaming about, we've been talking for 2 or 3 months about him, and no one even knew it, which is great. They got it done behind closed doors. And by the time everyone heard about it, it was almost done.
That's pretty awesome.
Which is great, too. So, we are so lucky.
We are right now.
Started watching in 2012, have no idea what 2-14's like or what 6-10's like. Very fortunate.
That nostalgia that we have about guys like Kenny Easley or that we watch, Steve Largent, Cortez, those guys.
Yeah.
We might be very well looking at a team that's like that, or a team currently watching that's going to be like that in the future. When these guys retire, there's the potential for several Hall of Fame players right now.
There really is, and we have a lot of guys that you say if they play X number of years like they've already played, you have to consider it. I think. Will, give me one guy that's on the team right now that we say if he continues to play the way he's playing, probably going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of safeties in the Hall of Fame, but he keeps playing like this, it's going to be a lock.
He's the first one that comes to mind. I don't think he has to play that much longer.
Dustin, what about you?
Russ is on that path.
Yeah.
Russ is on that path. I think Russell Wilson has a very good shot at it, especially because he's already done things that have put his gear in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And he's got the mentality, he's got the skill. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there.
Matt?
Probably Bobby Wagner. I think he's massively undervalued. I don't think people underestimate. I think he's underestimated by the media, which I think is the problem. And I think actually that's the problem for all of Seattle Seahawks players, to be fairly honest, is they don't get the coverage on the media, which pushes their profile forward enough, if you like.
But I think they get a lot of respect to the players.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But it's I just don't think they get the recognition anyway.
You're right, and that's why I think the 2 that I'll bring up before we go to break, they're not well known around. Well, they kind of are. But more importantly, they're respected by their fellow players, and that is, I think, Kam Chancellor. Give him 3 more years, I think there's a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Because the players around the league respect him so much that when they have a say, they're going to bring him up. And I think Richard Sherman, continues to show a shutdown corner year after year after year after year. How, if he continues, how can we not even consider him for a Hall of Fame career? Again, he has the respect of the NFL as well. Both those guys, a lot of respect in the NFL for how they play. So I think that'll be a telling factor when they retire.
And probably a long shot, but maybe on the senior tour, kind of like Easley did, possibly a Michael Bennett.
Yeah, sure.
Could happen.
If he keeps playing like he has, he's so versatile. And if he stops jumping off sides, maybe. Hall of Fame for most offsides penalties, I don't know. But it matched the yellow jacket. But still,
I think he's going to have to put up some big numbers in the next 3 or 4 years, but that's certainly possible, and he can certainly do that. But yeah, you're right. As far as a dominant defensive end during his era, he would be that guy. And something he did revolutionary is inside-outside. He can line up anywhere, and that's going to help him. Something unique. That
like I said, he's not going to be a first ballot kind of guy, but he's definitely going to have a shot, I think, on the senior tour.
Yeah, something a little different. I agree. Speaking of something different, that's in the third quarter right there.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Coming up next, it's an exciting news game for the posse to play. You're listening and watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, free and worth every penny. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, everybody. This is Statsman Mark. And when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, yes, it's time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, it's time for a new game, everybody. Get ready for this. All right. Listen, if you listened to last show, episode 507, God bless you.
Oh, you're the one.
Congrats to you for getting through that.
And if you made it all the way to the fourth quarter, you deserve some freaking medal. But I digress. You heard us play a game in which I asked the posse if an NFL franchise team name was an actual old professional football franchise or not in a little game that we called Team or No Team. Well, it occurred to me that the last quarter we needed, before the start of the season, we needed another game like that. And I started to look at player names, and there have been some interesting ones. We have, the Seahawks, Carlos de Crumpler, Taco Wallace, Pork Chop.
I like Taco.
Right?
Yeah.
And international soccer, or football if you're Matt, but we're going to call it soccer.
No, I'm calling it soccer.
They have some pretty
I call it
interesting
soccer
names
just to
too.
avoid English people.
So, in fourth quarter, the game we're going to play is called Football or Soccer.
You dick. What's that have to do with mascots?
I told you you were going to be ruined.
All right, here's how you play.
Totally played you.
I will be giving you names. Oh, what did I do? Dustin, what's wrong?
Nothing. No, just fuck off. That's all.
Whoa.
Let me explain to the crowd why Dustin is a little bitter.
As Dennis takes his victory lap,
I told the guys, it's been 4 weeks since our last show. And about 2 weeks ago, I told the guys, hey, I need something for the fourth quarter. And Matt came up with this idea, hey, let's do mascots like you did the football teams. I said, great idea. So I start looking, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. But then this other thing came up with the names, and I thought, this is just way funnier. And I've been telling Dustin for 2 weeks to study mascots, and he's done it.
Yeah. More or less.
We're not doing mascots.
Yeah, so, fuck you guys.
Hey, that's awesome.
Thank you, everyone. That was Dustin, care of 12-Man Fan Jam Show at Gmail. All right.
So remember, kids, never study. You will do better.
Yeah, it's not even worth it at this point.
Here we go. Actually, the order will go Matt, Dustin, and Will. I will give you a name. You tell me if it's a football player or a soccer player. You ready?
Okay.
Hey, my eggs are done, but I'll get them later. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Matt, your first player, is a fella by the name of, his first name is Earthwind, and his last name is Moreland. Yeah. Earthwind Moreland. Earthwind Moreland. EARTHWIND. Earthwind.
And these could be current players, or are they historical?
Well, they could be current, but I think most of them are historical. But is he football or soccer? Earthwind Moreland.
Well, Earthwind sounds like it's some sort of Native American type name, not a soccer name, really. So I'm going to say it's a football, not a soccer.
Oh, saying football, no soccer. And Earthwind Moreland actually was a football player.
I'll say he had been named after Earth, Wind, and Fire.
He played for the Patriots and actually was on one of their Super Bowl teams. But I think he was on the team that lost to the Packers. But I digress.
Wow.
Okay, next one's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Just to say, when you say soccer with an English accent, it sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Soccer.
You got to fix that.
Soccer.
Well, to be fair, you don't hear the word soccer very often in an English accent.
That's why it sounds really weird.
Soccer.
But I do say it because I'd like to really, really upset English people who then go, it's football.
It's
soccer.
And you're like, oh, sawed off.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wanker.
Dustin, your player name is Fair Hooker. Fair Hooker. Fair Hooker. Was he football?
You're serious?
Or soccer? Yeah,
that's that woman's name in your phone, Dustin.
Fair
I know.
Hooker. It sounds like
Guardian is everywhere.
Fair Hooker Sounds like a Yelp review of Vegas.
Yeah.
But I digress.
I'm going to go with soccer. I've never heard. Yeah, I got nothing.
He's going with... If he was a mascot, you know him.
Probably not.
You said soccer for Fair Hooker?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm sorry. He played for the Browns.
Oh, yeah, damn, this is a football show. That's right.
Yeah.
The only Brown in recent history who's ever scored.
Wow.
While being paid.
Kids.
Yep.
Yeah. That was awesome. Congratulations, Will. You just won the internet. That was amazing. And Will, here's your prize. You get a name. Are you ready?
Okay.
Your guy's name is Guy Whymper. Guy Whymper. Was he a football player or a soccer player? Guy Whymper.
Guy Whymper is a football player. He played for the Giants, I believe.
Guy Whymper also sounds like a Yelp review of Vegas. But we move on. Guy Whymper was a player. Oh, little Mr. Show Off there. Oh, he's a football player, played for the Giants. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see. Guy Whymper. Yeah, he played for the Giants.
No joke, Moses. When you started talking about this segment, that is literally the first name I thought of.
It paid off. It paid off.
Isn't that Eli Manning's nickname?
Guy Whymper.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, it'll be Jay Cutler in 2 months.
I will say this might be my favorite name of the whole thing coming up, and this is Matt's. Matt? Oh, I can't believe Matt got this one. This is so awesome. Matt, your real person's name is Fabian Assman. That's right.
What?
Assman. Fabian Assman.
I'm feeling it's Asman, but still.
Assman. Was Fabian Assman a football player or soccer?
Oh my goodness. Well, it sounds totally like a soccer player.
And even now, again, without a doubt, a Yelp review of Vegas. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the most... That's almost as bad as that German downhill skiller who was called Fanny Schmeller.
It's not on my list, but that's pretty good.
No, well, she wouldn't be on your list. She didn't do soccer or football. She was a downhill skier. I would say that it was soccer because it sounds like a sort of weak and feeble name.
Ow!
Yikes.
Fabian Assman was a soccer player. Is a soccer player. I don't even know.
Where the hell is he from? It's got to be German.
I have no idea.
I was going to guess he was the lineman with the Jets that Mark
Hold on,
Sanchez ran into.
I'm googling.
Right?
I need to know where this. I need to know where this man is because if he's like,
you need to find him.
I'm finding him now. Fabian.
Are you googling Assman?
Oh, he's cute.
Be careful googling Assman.
Don't do that on a public computer, Matt.
No, it's on my own computer. It's already. It goes to favorites. Actually, it wasn't German. No, he wasn't German. It was the other country we beat in a war. It's Argentina.
Don't cry for me.
Yeah, we beat them too. It's fine.
Okay. We now go to Dustin. Dustin, hi, Dustin.
What?
How are you? Your
Awesome.
your name is Buzz Nutter. Buzz Buzznutter. Buzz Nutter.
His nickname is Busta.
Buzz Nutter.
Busta Nutter. Or Butter.
Oh,
Butter Nutter.
goodness.
Buzz Nutter. Was he football?
I'm gonna
or
try
soccer?
soccer again. I don't know.
You keep doing soccer until it hurts. That's not good. You said soccer.
Well, it's hard to score in soccer, so
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it. So.
No, he played for the Colts. He was actually a center. Buzz Nutter, the center.
Oh.
So, I guess I would imagine Johnny Unitas at one time had to get behind Buzz Nutter. I don't know.
I hope he didn't get any Nutter butter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, we are 12.
We are 12.
We are 12. Dustin. Will?
Yes, sir.
Your name, you got the easy ones. Coy Bacon.
I like that name.
Coy
Let me write
Bacon,
that down.
and if Homer may say so. Oh, Bacon. Coy Bacon.
Okay, if a guy named Bacon is not an American football player, he should be. So I'm going with football.
Coy Bacon. You're going football.
Because of the bacon.
All right. Oh, Bacon. Yeah. Funny thing about Coy Bacon is that he played for the Rams, Chargers, Bengals, and Redskins. I remember him playing for the Bengals when I grew up by Cincinnati. I had Coy Bacon's football card. Can't make that up. All right.
Now that you mention it, that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Weird.
Final round. Matt.
Yes.
I love this one.
Who have you got this time? Dick
Not
Hyder?
as good as Fabian, but
Dick Buttkiss. Football.
Yeah, Dick Buttkiss.
I called it.
Credence Clearwater Quoto. That's right.
What?
Credence
You've got to be
Clearwater Quoto.
I
Comes
want
out the
independent
Proud Mary.
verification that these are real people, okay?
That's
Credence
nonsense, isn't it?
Clearwater Quoto.
Well, there was a band called Credence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to say,
John Fogerty was the...
Yeah.
If that
Proud
was an
Mary,
American
Lodi.
football player, I would know that was an American football player because no name is so ridiculous. But because it could very easily be a soccer player because I don't know any soccer players at all. So I'll say it's a soccer player because I don't know him from American football. And if he had that name, I would know he was an American football player.
So what are you saying here?
He's a soccer player.
Oh, okay. You sounded like the guy on Princess Bride. But I would not choose that one.
I
So
would-
I would choose this one, but you think you're going to choose this one.
Next, you'll be starting a
but I
land
would
war in
choose
Asia.
that one. Next, what?
I said next, you'll be
You
starting
said-
a land war in Asia.
Inconceivable. All right, Creedence Clearwater Quoto. You, I think, eventually said soccer player.
It's soccer player. If it was,
Yeah,
it would. I would know him, and Americans don't know that sort of stupid
Yeah,
thing, do
it's soccer player.
Yep. I thought
Credence
Quoto
Clearwater
was the mutant leader in Total Recall.
Also a soccer player. Who knew?
I thought it was.
People have hobbies.
I thought it was Japan's second capital city. Is what I thought.
Today in downtown Quoto. All right, where are we at? We are at the second person, which is Dustin. Dustin,
Matt already won. Why am I answering shit?
this is.
Damn.
Hey, calm
So that
myself.
we can finish the game and
Yeah.
the
Oh,
podcast.
Dustin,
Now answer the
don't
damn
go all
question.
Frank Clark on us, okay?
Yeah, really.
But as you mentioned, now I am ordering another trophy.
Your name
soccer.
is.
It's soccer.
Your name is not so much a name. He's not so much a name as he is kind of a warning, I think. Curry burns. Because
does.
if you eat curry and it burns,
does.
I think it's a warning. Curry burns.
It burns
Like I said, soccer. I'm going soccer.
He's going soccer.
Yeah.
Curry burns. Soccer?
One of these dudes has to be a soccer dude.
No, he played for Saints.
It's not this day.
And Will,
Yes,
it's up to you. There's absolutely no redeeming value to this game, but here you go. Your name is David Goodwillie. David Goodwillie. Soccer or football? David
That's
Goodwillie.
the caption on Twitter when you're on what's it, Tinder or whatever. That's his name up there.
David Goodwillie.
Yeah, it's my porno name, but yeah. I'm gonna go soccer because why not?
Why not? Well, David Goodwillie. Sounds like he should be a wide receiver, but yeah, you got it.
3 for
Well-
3, woohoo!
Congratulations. I don't even know who won. Who won? Anyway.
I won
I know I
nothing.
didn't.
It was a tie,
Congratulations to all of you on
apart from Dustin.
surviving a game
Yeah.
of football or soccer. Has nothing to do with mascots. Don't
Yeah, I
hate
know.
the player. Hate the game. All right. Wow. So, with that being said,
Oh yeah,
Can
that
you
was
tell
that.
we need football season to get here?
There's a
yes,
lot being
we
said.
do.
Off seasons are too long.
And it's going to come sooner rather than later. So, in the meantime, it looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man fan jam show.
You're
to a
stretching
close.
Those are 2 words for it.
Yeah, it's 2
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's preseason, right? We can still milk that excuse.
None
We're
of
so
it counts.
glad, and we want to apologize if you decided to waste some time with us.
Yeah. Our bad, guys. Our bad.
We are so sorry.
Yes.
We're so sorry to our 20 listeners. We certainly hope
10 now.
10 now. We hope you laughed a little, and maybe I don't know, you learned a little something. What did we learn? Wow.
We hope you come back.
Not
Well,
Let's
firstly,
just
we
hope
learned
you come
that Harry
back.
Burns.
We
Yeah.
know that Johnny Manziel wants to coach. We know that Dustin doesn't like mascots. We know that Matt is Googling Ass Man, and Will has a porn
Well, it's in his favorites.
To my favourite, it's already there.
For
I-
some
I have
reason,
a
Will
what?
has a porn name. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
you said that. Now, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our new sound Shadowhawk, Will.
Oh, goodbye, everyone.
That's
Good night,
Dustin
Jim Boy.
as
and
the
see you,
Beaver,
God willing, next show.
Roger
Yeah.
Goodell, Mosette, Little Mo, John Fogerty, Credence, Clearwater, Quoto,
Kyoto.
Buzz Nutter, Curry Burns, and David Goodwillie, Sheila McRae, Art Carney, Buddy Hackett. Good night, everybody. Go Hawks.
Go
Hawks.
Go.
God help us all.
Oh, my goodness.
That was
Okay, this whole show was an outtake episode.
Yes, it was. Yeah. I feel like it was an outtake show.